Okay, I've been playing the saxes, soloing with the saxes, and just kind of having fun with it, but there's actually a whole lot more to it than that. Now, you may be asking, why would I want to imitate a sax on the keyboard? Why not just get a real sax player? And that's a good question. If you have a good sax player and, you're playing in a band, of course you want to get the real sax player or the real trumpet player or trombone, whatever. But when you're doing, when you're a producer and you're making music, especially for the advertising field, sometimes they give you really very short, unrealistic deadlines, and they want you to kind of work miracles. They might say you have 2 days to do this whole big band score here, for this jingle or whatever, and that's definitely not enough time to get a whole big band together. So that's where Mojo horns comes in handy. Okay, I want to show you a few more things about the Mojo Horns virtual instrument plugin. Okay, first, when you go to load your sounds in, you have the option of choosing a single instrument by clicking this tab here on the left, or by choosing a multi-layered instrument that has different combinations already stacked for you. The multis can be helpful if you want to achieve a bigger, thicker sound, and they already have different combinations to choose from. This can be a real time saver if you want to quickly get a richer, thicker sound. But there are times when you have to choose a single instrument and just play everything one by one, because the multi-preset blend they have set up for you may not be exactly what you need for that song. Doesn't always work how you want it. So, okay, now here's an example of a small band setting using a combination of some multi-instrument patches and then some single patches. Hey, now I want to show you some screenshots of the Mojo horns in action. Okay, first of all, you have to have a contact player. I think you have to have the real contact player. There's a free version out, and then there's the one this actually you pay for it. I think you have to have the full version. So okay, right now this is a full version of Contact. This is Contact version 5. And what you do is you want to first load your instrument in, and you go over here. You can either click on it, double click on it, or you can just drag it in there. I like to just kind of drag mine over in there. And then there's the Mojo horns. Now by default, there's different articulations and different things set up on this by default. And I don't know if you can notice it, but look down to the little keyboard down here on the bottom. If you notice, from this C all the way up to this G, there's some what they call controller keys. And then up here at the top, just a little over octave, there's controller keys on the top too. So these keys actually all do something to the way the articulation is on the instrument. So for example, when you first launch it, it's set up to have a sustained vibrato. So I'm gonna hit a note. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's kind of like got a vibrato to it. Okay, now if you hit up here, I hit the B on the 88 key, note keyboard. It's right below the very top note, right below that C. I'm hitting the B. Now that changed to what they call a sustained B6. Actually, it's the same note, but it's sustaining with no vibrato. That's the vibrato. That's no vibrato. Now, sometimes I prefer no vibrato, but there's cases where the vibrato does come in handy for some different styles. So right now, I'm just going to leave it on straight sustain with no vibrato. And you can actually go in and reprogram some of these things. Now, you have different effects. You know, you have room equalizer, compressor, saturation, chorus, reverb, delay, stereo widener, limiter. There's a big slew of effects right there. And also what I like to go and play with is the engine right here, because when I first got it, I was like, you know, is this it? You know, but then I went in there and I actually started going under the hood of it, started playing with the effects and the different settings and just the articulations and things. And I said, okay, now we're talking. So this is what I did. I went to what they call setup right here, hit the setup, you get a little drop down, and then go down to what they say is instrument. Okay, now, right here is what they call character. But like 0 is default, okay? Now, if you go -1, -2, -3, it starts getting mellow. Like I'm gonna show you 0 first. Okay, now here's -2. It's a little bit more mellow. There's more breath in there. It's just kind of like more subdued. Now, of course, -3 is all the way. Okay, and then I'm going to show you +3, the opposite of what I just played. It's wide open, brassy, in your face kind of sound. Okay, so if you're looking for that kind of sound, you can get it. I kind of like a -1 to 0, somewhere right around there. Okay, then you can also do what they call Legato Bypass. Okay, now I like that a lot because especially if you're playing some kind of smooth music and you know something really soft and really smooth, what Legato Bypass does is if you're kind of playing a passage, I don't know if you noticed it, but if you pay attention, the notes in between my target notes, you know, the passing notes are not struck real hard. They're just kind of like smoother. Watch. Now, of course, that depends on how you play it too. Now, if you peck at the keys, then it's not going to work. But you have to hold the notes down as long as possible, and just play very legato. Now, okay, now you can have extra punch. Okay, now what I had it on was extra punch is disabled for legato notes. Now you can have extra punch, so that means so you can have the notes kind of punch out a little harder if you want to. So you can go in and adjust it all kinds of ways to your specs. I like that bypass. You can humanize it. This is a vibrato range. You can change the articulations, of course. Now, I showed you a couple of things up here. Now I'm going to show you down here below. Now I want you to watch right here where it says player solo. That means there's one player. Now watch if I hit this note. See, I hit that right there. Now it says two players. That's this C right here, right above the very bottom note on an 88 keyboard. So watch. Now I'm going to show you the difference. Two players, legato mode. Now, so just with the flick of the note down here on the bottom, you can actually change it from solo to two players, or mono, or legato mode. Okay, so and also you can go up here and change it right here. You can turn the dial and get more players, 4 players, 6 players. That's 6 players. Now that could be real handy, like in a funk band or something, or like a funk groove, and you just want it to sound like a big wall of saxes, something really big in your face and thicken it up. This can come in real handy. Okay, so but if you're just kind of doing soloing, I just put it on 1, and I would also put it on legato mode, and I would have the legato bypass on. Okay, so now some of the articulations up here. Now this is subtones. Like hear the breath in there. Okay, now subtones. Now watch. I'm going to hit the one of the red keys up here on the right. So far I hit the F. That was the subtones. I'm going to try the one above it. Still subtones. Now it's a slur up. Pow. Overblown vibrato, really ballsy in your face, maybe really good for blues or something like that. Slur up, I did that. Pow. Okay, that was overblown vibrato. This is overblown with no vibrato. A doit. Doit. Run up an octave. Run down an octave. That's more like it. Swell. And these can be really nice because with the swell articulation, you have a real hard attack, and then it backs off, and then it swells back out again. I'm hearing some weird artifacts on some of these. I don't know why, but I hit them again, it doesn't do it. Okay. Trills, staccato, staccato, stabs, sustain, sustain vibrato. Now that's the very top C up here. That's the one that's by default when you load a new sound. So those are some of the articulations it has. They're really handy, especially if you're trying to do a big band sound. And you know, when you're doing big band, sometimes you use all these little techniques. I mean, you use them wisely when they can be used. You don't want to overdo some of this stuff, but you can see the possibilities of